So, welcome to the uvwasi team meeting for January 17th, 2024. We'll follow our standard agenda. That was issue number 246 in the repo. Before we get started, any announcements or news that people would like to share? Okay, if not, I'm going to move on to the first one. Hefty Read Deer, I think that's still in our backlog, so nothing to update there. What's new with Wazi in 2023? I have a feeling we discussed a few things last time. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna laugh at 2023. It's 2024 now.
Yeah, okay, that's right. We did do maybe what's worth mentioning, there was another uvwasi release.
The release with the fixes to file system stuff,
Right, yeah.
including links and um, I forget what Alex's fix was. I think it was maybe also links or something.
Right. Yeah, I'll make a post on the issue that will show up in the feed that says like, hey, yeah, we did another release that did those things. That's a good idea.
And that got merged into Node fairly recently, right?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember, like the auto update didn't work because like it did change some of the behavior for the links. So I actually had to like manually I had to manually fix the tests and land and get that landed. So, but yeah, it was like last week, I think. Yeah, no, that was an interesting one in that I think it was, now that I fully understand that, it was like fundamentally different in terms of like how symlinks operate. It's definitely good to get that fixed. Then
Does that
go ahead.
just a question about that.
Yeah.
Does that also, after being in the latest, does it also get rolled back into Node 18, or is that only going to be in Node 20 since it kind of changed behavior with the links?
I'm going to take a look at, I'm going to find the pull requests. And then I can give you the answer that I think makes sense is. So I didn't tag it as Semper Major, even though I would have done that if it wasn't experimental. But uvwasi is experimental, and so because of that, it may be breaking to some people. Um, if this group thinks we don't want that or that's the wrong thing to happen, I could mark it as like breaking, but I didn't because like on the balance of things, this is probably the way it should have worked. So it was a bug, and because it's experimental, we have that leeway.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, normally if it was like a stable thing, even then sometimes like it's if it's like it was a real bug, then there still could be the argument be made that it's a bug. But being experimental, we definitely have more flexibility. So to say that since it's not tagged, things flow backwards, so it should flow into 20 at least. 18, I think, might have hit maintenance, so things get backported less quickly, but like at least for 20, it should flow in.
Okay.
Okay, so back to the agenda. The only other thing on the agenda was kind of an update on the WASI spec and snapshot 2. I don't know if anybody has any updates to share on that one.
Yeah, at next week's WASI community group meeting, there's going to be a vote to advance the proposal to phase 3, I think, or 4, no, phase. I'm forgetting what phase it's on. I've lost complete track. It's the important vote that says, "Hey, this is what's actually happening with WASI." Um, so essentially when that happens, there's no greener light we could have that says we
Right,
can start working on
right.
the preview 2 stuff.
I guess at that point, it would be good to maybe break it down a little bit into like here's some smaller chunks of things that we could do bit by bit that would make sense, or
Yeah, exactly. Because preview 2, it's already broken into like six or
right.
seven
Yeah.
different things, and so it's easy enough for us to take them one at a time and implement those pieces.
Okay.
And a lot of it's pretty direct translation.
Yeah, because I think it would be good to have like a list of prioritized issues in the repo that says, okay, here's the things we think we'd like to do and in what order.
There is a dependency tree, so that could also be pretty helpful with the order as well.
Right, okay, because it could be like you got to do the ones on the lower end
Hmm.
because it doesn't make sense to do some of the higher level ones without any.
Exactly.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, anything else we should chat on that front?
I guess one thing that we should be aware of is just that a lot of the stuff did change to resources. And I've not found, I've been working with their stuff a little bit. And I don't have a really good reference implementation for all of the resource stuff, specifically returning resources from functions. Um, it's still a work in progress in Jco, which has been my reference implementation for a lot of stuff. Too bad Guy's not here. And then he would
Right.
hear he might hear that statement and then implement it quickly. But yeah, that's the reference implementation that I've been using. And so I don't actually know everything around resources right now. And I'm not sure when Oscar says one-to-one translation, sure, but what are resources going to look like?
Yeah, that's fair. I guess I was thinking of the easier stuff like clocks.
Okay. So there's some things that'll be a bit pretty straightforward, but those, yeah. I think, yeah, I suspect that Guy will be able to help us understand that side of things a bit better, and especially since he's got to figure it out if it's because it's definitely his sounds like his priorities to get Jaco fully implemented. So
Yeah.
That's the last thing that's necessary for the vote next week, so he's probably very
oh
busy.
really? Okay, so it has to be like that's the reference that lets the vote take place, and
Yeah, there have to be two independent implementations. The first
okay,
one's Wasm time, and Jayco's the other.
okay, interesting. I'm gonna put that as a second implementation to wasn't time for a vote uh, needed as prereq for vote. Okay, that's yep. I could see him busily working away on that then. So it should be there any minute, Blaine.
That'll be perfect.
Okay, any other things we should chat about or?
I think that's about everything.
Okay, sounds good then. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you in GitHub in a couple weeks.
Thanks so much.
Okay,
Have a good
thank
one.